This female soldier had a peculiar hobby. She liked to order the prisoners of war to strip naked and stand in a row. Then she would use a hose to wash them. Faced with these female soldiers, the prisoners had no choice but to endure it. After being washed with cold water, the prisoners were forced to put on clean and tidy clothes and attend a party hosted by the female soldiers. The female soldiers humiliated the prisoners and then sent them back to the prison. It turned out that after the war ended, all the husbands of these female soldiers had died on the battlefield. So, the job of guarding the prisoners was left to these widowed female soldiers. At first, the prisoners didn't take the female soldiers seriously. During a roll call, one prisoner ignored the female soldier and went to take the clothes of a teammate who had frozen to death on the ground to keep warm, but the female soldier shot him dead on the spot. Another prisoner was so scared that he shouted surrender, but the angry female soldier beat him to death with a club. Later, the female soldiers drove the prisoners into the prison. At that moment, one prisoner saw through the window in horror that his companion, who had just been killed by the female soldier, was hung up with his feet tied. It was then that the prisoners realized they would face the revenge of the female soldiers. It wasn't until night that the female soldiers brought a bucket of rice. This was the first meal the prisoners had since they arrived at the prisoner of war camp. But the female soldier kicked over the bucket of rice. The prisoners, who had been hungry for 3 days, immediately rushed forward and started grabbing the food on the ground. It turned out that the female soldier wanted the prisoners to eat on the ground like dogs. The next day, the female soldiers ordered the prisoners to stand at attention in the snow at -40°C. If they dared to move even slightly, they would be beaten severely. If they tried to resist, they would be hanged in public. However, as time went on, the female soldiers and the prisoners became more and more familiar with each other. Their positions and relationships began to gradually become closer. In order to stop this, the officer deliberately ordered the female soldier to take off her clothes in the snow in front of the prisoners. This was meant to warn the other female soldiers, but the officer's warning didn't work. In the end, the female soldier fell in love with one of the prisoners. From then on, more and more female soldiers and prisoners fell in love. But one day, the female soldiers suddenly received orders from their superiors to release all the prisoners back to their home countries the next day. The female soldiers informed everyone at night. At first, the prisoners didn't believe it because they had already found their own partners here, but they eventually chose to return to their own countries. Although the female soldiers had also fallen in love with them, they could only reluctantly say goodbye to their loved ones.